Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Well, I don't know if you saw this the other day, but the lovely President of the United States meeting with the Chancellor of Germany, the Chancellor mentioned that it was the day before D-Day, that they would be celebrating the anniversary of D-Day the next day, right? June 6th, 1944. And Donald Trump says to Chancellor Merz, yeah, that wasn't such a good day for you. And that was a terrible day, wasn't it? Again, no self-awareness, no, I don't know, everything's all zero-sum. And, if in world affairs, if this country wins, that country loses, right? Kind of like the whole trade thing, right? Whereas, yes, we have trade deficits, but that's not, hey, this country is winning, therefore we are losing. No, it's they're winning, we're winning. Things can work out that way sometimes. That's kind of the way D-Day worked out. I mean, sure, at the time, Germany lost. And, Chancellor Merz had to break it down that, appeal to the American ego, which, as an American, I mean, don't get me wrong, we like that. We really do. I mean, and maybe we shouldn't, but we do, and, let's just embrace it, right? So, D-Day. What really happened? Well, that was the beginning of the end, wasn't it? When, I mean, no, it's not the day that the Germans were liberated from a Nazi regime by the Americans, like the Chancellor told Donald Trump. And I'm sure the Chancellor knows that. I am sure he knows that. Because Germans know their history. They do. And they, I wouldn't say they embrace the negative parts of their history, but they sure don't shy away from it. They know it. They know it. And that's why these days they are typically on the right side of history. At the time they were on the wrong side, sure. Well, they don't want to make that mistake again. They know. They know. And it's good that they know. Just like we, as Americans, should know more of the negative parts of our history. It should be taught in our schools more than it is. Trail of Tears and I mean, sure they teach some of it, like slavery, and they don't get into some of the graphic parts of the slavery, of course, but they should, especially in high schools. But there were other, not just the Trail of Tears. I mean, the Indian Removal Act, which, well, Trail of Tears, but the Indian Removal Act. Then there was, putting the indigenous peoples here on, reservations and violating every treaty that we ever made with them. We don't have a great history. We just don't. racism, sexism, genocide, and we are not the only country that has that kind of a history. We're obviously not. And for that to be part of our history, I'm not going to say that's okay, but I am saying that it's a good thing for us to learn from and never do again. Right? Oppressing people based on their skin color. You know, I mean, it was, just a little over 60 years ago. Just a little over 60 years ago. Keep in mind, I'm 50 years old now. So, this is 2025. I was born in 1974, right? 1964 is when the Civil Rights Act passed. So, a decade before I was born. Kind of puts things in perspective. I mean, I have two sisters who were alive when the Civil Rights Act was passed. But I kind of got off topic a little bit, but that's okay. It all deals with history. And, Americans, we like to think that we are the absolute greatest country that has ever existed. And in some ways we have been. We have been the greatest country that has ever existed. In some ways. In other ways, we've never been that country. Now, I still love this country enough that I'm going to stay here and fight for it. Right? Because we can be the greatest country that's ever existed. We can be. I mean, it's going to take a whole lot of work, and I may not see it in my lifetime, but I believe it can happen. So, the German Chancellor, stroking the American ego, tells Donald Trump that D-Day was when the Americans liberated Germany from a Nazi dictatorship. After being told by Donald Trump, not such a good day for you, is it? Yeah, well, I think it's a great day for the Chancellor. I mean, a great day in their history, in Germany's history, despite having lost that battle and ultimately losing that war. It was one of the best things that could have ever happened for Germany. Because losing that battle, now keep in mind, yeah, we as Americans like to think that we went over there single-handedly and, all of Europe was losing to the Germans until we showed up. And, I don't know, there were wins, there were losses on both sides, just like any war. Would the Allies have ultimately won without the United States getting directly involved? Yeah, I think they would have. Do I know that? No, but I believe it. Right? I mean, we are fond of saying, well, if it wasn't for us, you'd all be speaking German. And I'm surprised Trump didn't say that to the Chancellor of, Germany. Yeah, actually, I am surprised he didn't say that to the Chancellor. Never mind the fact that he speaks, German. That's it, yeah. So, Germany, I mean, to say that I've been there is kind of not really accurate. I mean, I have been. I mean, I've been on the ground in Germany. But to say that I've actually been there is not really accurate, because it was all layovers between... it was all layovers while I was on deployments. So, and that's not really having been to Germany. It's just having had my feet on the ground in Germany. What little tiny, teeny bit I saw out of an airplane window, though, was absolutely beautiful. And from people I know who have been there, that's a great place. It's not only a beautiful country, but the people there are fantastic. And, for our president to try to get that dig in on the German Chancellor like that, I don't know. Yes, it shows his ignorance, but it also shows his arrogance. We, the United States, did not win that war. I mean, yes, we did, but so did the British, and the French, and the Canadians. Yeah, we, as the United States, like to overlook anything Canada does. It's too bad, because, like I told the Canadians a couple of times, and by the way, to the Canadians, I still love your country, and I hope to visit at some point, hopefully in the near future, because I've never met a Canadian that I don't like. And that's not even an exaggeration, that's not hyperbole, that's a true statement, and I've met lots of Canadians in my life. But never one that I don't like. I mean, are there Canadians I don't like? Yeah, certain hockey players. Brad Marchand. Yeah, certain hockey players, I mean, I don't like them, but not that I don't like them as people, because I don't know them as people. I just don't like them because they're good at a sport and don't play for the team that I like. Or I just don't like their style of play. Whatever. That's nothing personal. I'm sure if I ever actually met them, I'd be fine with them. But again, I got kind of derailed. Donald Trump likes to, make everything about himself, He thinks that Germany lost because the Allies won. No, the Nazis lost because the Allies won. Germany won as well. Germany won that war. I mean, no, the Nazi Party and the German government at the time lost. But Germany is now a great country because they lost that war. So losing, not necessarily a bad thing, because you can turn that into a victory, like Germany, and also Japan. Japan lost that war as well, and they're also a great country now. Hopefully we will be again someday. I'll catch y'all.